Hello, let's do the New York Times Hard Sudoku for April 11th, 2024. There's a link in the description if you'd like to try the puzzle yourself. And I'm going to get started right now. Alright, so there's no repeats up here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, but no repeated digits. So for this horizontal scan, the only thing we're going to be looking for is crossings and geometry. First thing I want to look at is these 4 digits here. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 9. None of them are in this column. So we want to look at this column for anything that's not 2, 4, 6, 9, and we see a 3 here. So the 3 is looking into here, and that means that 3 can't be anywhere in this box except these 2 cells here. So 3 ends up in one of these 2 cells. And this does what's called pointing. So in this case, it points down the rest of the column because the best way to think about this, in my opinion, is within box 1, we have limited 3 to these 2 cells. And these 2 cells happen to both be in column 1. So wherever the 3 ends up being, it'll be in this cell or this cell. Those are the only 2 options. There isn't any third option. It's going to end up in one of these 2. And that will be in column 1. So the rest of column 1 cannot be 3. So importantly, these 2 cells actually are not possible to be 3. And this 3 looks up. And that means 3 is in one of these 3. But this 3 also looks in. So 3 is in one of these 2. I also want to think about the 2, 6, and 9 real quick. Because 2, 6, and 9 are not in these 3 cells. And we still need them in this column. 2, 6, 9. So I'm seeing the 2 here, the 6 here, the 2 here. I don't think there's anything actionable though, unfortunately, but it's always good to look. But you can see that 2 actually is only in one of 2 places in this column. And then the 6 is in 3 places, the 9 is in all 4. So there's nothing we can do with that, but it's good to note. We do have this 1 here that's looking up on this end, which is not, in fact, we have the 1 and the 8. So remember we had the 2, 4, 6, 9. They aren't, this 1 and 8 aren't 2, 4, 6, or 9. So 1 and 8 look up into this box. So 1 and 8 end up over here somewhere. And this 1 and 8 are going to clean that up a little bit. But we can corner mark 1s and 8s, clean that up a little bit. And those 1s and 8s also point. So these cells aren't 1. This 1 looks down. So there's a 1 in one of these 2. And then these aren't 8. This 8 looks in. This 8 looks up. And so 8's in one of these 2. Now, we've done something very special here with these 3s and 8s. Because what we've said is that 3s are limited to these 2 cells and 8s are limited to these 2 cells. That's what these corner marks are telling us. But it's the same exact 2 cells, and 3 and 8 can't go anywhere else. So how many cells do we need in this box for 3 and 8? And it's not a trick question, we need 2 cells, because there's 2 different digits. We're going to need 2 different cells. But these are the only 2 cells that can have 3 and 8. So we found what's called a hidden pair by finding exactly overlapping corner marks. So this is a 3-8 pair, and the consequence of that, I can get rid of the corner marks just because the 3-8 pair is telling us the same thing, but better. But this is called a hidden 3-8 pair, and what a hidden technique does is it removes other possibilities from those cells. So these cells can no longer be, let's see, they can no longer be 3, oh, sorry, 3 they can be, sorry. They can no longer be 6, 7, that's it. So we thought these could be 6 or 7, but now they can't be. So we might want to think about how are 6 and 7 affected in the column or in the box. Well, the column has just 1, 6, and 7 remaining. So we can just fill that 1, 6, 7. And you can see that this cell here can't be the 1 or the 6. And so of 1, 6, and 7, it can't be 1, 6, so it can only be 7. In fact, I think we can probably just see this as a naked single. So it can't be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, or 9. So it needs to be a value, and it can't be any of the numbers except for 7. So it's going to be a 7. That's called a naked single. All right, we're left with a 1, 6 pair down here. Okay, so we want to think about the 6 in this box because this 6 looks down and this 6 looks in. And this hidden 3-8 pair removed the ability for 6 to be in these cells. Or if you want to think about it this way now, we do have this naked 1, 6 pair here that also removed 6 from these 2. So 6 in this box can only go here. And now we're left with a triple in the box. So we need a 2, 5, and 9. I'm just thinking about that first. I'm not seeing anything seeing those. We'll just put in 2, 5, 9. I don't mind marking when a cell is 3 or fewer. If it's 4, I generally won't mark it. And we are using these center marks to designate that these cells are down to just those candidates. So it's on a cell-by-cell basis. This cell can only be 259. This cell can only be 38. Whereas we use corner marks to say that it's a box-centric logic, that in this box, the 3 is limited to these two, the 1 to these two, and the 8 to these two. We can use corner marks and center marks in the same cell in this software, the Sudoku Pad software, which is the link in the description, which is very, very handy. So we need a 2 in this box, I'm noticing, and this 2 looks in. So there's a 2 in one of these two. And that 2 is going to point right, using that same pointing logic we used earlier with these 3s and these 1s and 8s. So these 2s point right, this 2 looks right, this 2 looks down. So 2 ends up in one of these two cells. The important thing is these are not 2. We're using these corner marks to try to remind us of that fact. So these are going to be down to at least 3, but let's think about the whole box. Yeah, we need a 7 as well. This 7 looks in. So 7 ends up in one of these two. And the 7s point into here. This 7 looks in, and these aren't 7. So 7 ends up placed. And so the remainder, I think this is all worth penciling, because the 2's down here. The 4 is in one of these two, actually. Mark that. Excuse me. Because this 4 is looking down. We need a 7, which is one of these two, and then the final digit's a 9, which could be anywhere. All right. Okay, so I got very sidetracked because I was going to look at this band, but that was a very nice sidetrack. Let's see how this box is affected by all this info we just got. I'm not sure it is too much, but let's just take a quick look here. Yeah, so if you recall, we needed this 2, 6, 9 earlier. We actually found where the 6 goes, but the 2 and the 9 are still spread across here, and we're not sure what the other digit is that joins it. Could be a 5, could be a 7. So we have a 2. Whoops, we have a 2, 5, 9 here, but nothing down here really joins up with it. Yeah, okay. So let's go back to this band. Let's make sure we didn't miss anything here, and then we'll move on to and do the next 2 bands. So I don't think this 3 is going to be doing anything interesting. So we have this 1, 5, and 8. There is an opportunity on crossings on this 1, 5. By crossings, I mean we just want to look for something over here that isn't in the box already. So in this case, the 9 looking in. You can see it looks in and it crosses, in this case, through the 1 and the 5. It avoids those that share this column. And so all we would need to do is find a 9 down here, and we would have a really big restriction on the box. Unfortunately, there isn't one. What we've got down here are 2, 3, and 7. So interestingly, we do have a 2 and a 3 looking in here, but it's not... Okay, so I guess we can mark it at least. So this 2 and this 2 look in this kind of cross shape, and these aren't 2. So there's a 2 in one of these two cells. Similarly with the 3, we have this. Unfortunately, the givens aren't in as nice of a position. So the 3 is one of these 3. I'm not going to mark that with corner marks. I don't like marking around corners with corner marks, unless it's down to 2. Okay. I'm not sure if there's really anything else to find up here. So let's go on to the next band. So I'm going to look at this 2, 3, 6 and see if there's repeats. The 6s are done. There is no 2 or 3 placed over here. So now we just have to compare these 2 boxes. We have the 5, 6, 8. The 6s are done, so 5 and 8. We don't really know anything about 5s and 8s. So again, no repeated digits, which is interesting. It's unusual. But we have some opportunities for crossings that we can at least look for. For example, this 5, 8, we could look for the 4 crossing in. The 6 was already in the box, but there are no 4s here to help. So that's not immediately helpful. We already finished this box, so we don't need to look for crossings in there. The 5, 6, 8, we should also be looking at, just really briefly, how does that affect the row they aren't in, and how does that affect the column they aren't in? So 5, 6, and 8. We already have a 6 in the row, so it's really just 5, 8. And they can be in any of these cells with no restriction on both. So that's not helpful. But 5, 6, 8 in this column. I am noticing we do have these two 5s and this 5, so we can mark the 5s at least. But in terms of an overall restriction on 5, 6s, and 8s, I'm not seeing it. So, and then we have this 2, 3, 6. Now, unfortunately, the 2, 3, 6 are not all avoiding a specific row or column. So I don't think we're going to find anything here. Okay, so let's move on to this bottom band here. We already did a little bit of it, but we didn't do it officially. Yeah, and so we have these two 5s looking in. This 5 looks down. So that places the 5 here. I already got the 2. The 7s we already have marked. I'm going to think about the rest of this row, because whenever a row, column, or box is down to 4 or fewer cells, I always like to look at what's remaining, because you're usually going to find some kind of restriction on that. So what's remaining are 1, 2, 4, and 6. 1, 2, 4, 6. So this cell can't be 1 or 6. So this is only 2, 4. This cell can't be 2. So this is 1, 4, 6. And this can be any of 1, 2, 4, 6. So I'm not going to mark it. Okay, not as fruitful as I hoped. Maybe this 2, 4 does something. Or maybe the fact that 1, 6 looks down is helpful. Not that I see. Looking for anything else that might be of use. We have this 2, 5, 7, 9 in this box that are all avoiding these cells. But we already have the 5 and the 7, so yeah, my normal scanning techniques are actually not finding a whole lot in this puzzle today. It's interesting. So we're gonna have to find it in other ways, but we still have a vertical scan. We already vertically scanned this stack, so I'm gonna skip it. This stack, we got the 5s already. No other repeats. 2 and 9. Okay, so we finally found a crossing, because on this 8, 6 here, right, we're focused on this 8, 6. And the 8 and 6 share a row. In which case, that means that there is a column they don't occupy, and that's this column here. I'll put it in purple. Now, what we're looking for in purple is something not in the box, so we're already not looking at those, and something that has a given in it. So we're not looking at those. We could potentially look at the 5, the corner marked 5s that we have there, but they're about to get erased anyway, because we also don't care about any digit that's already in the box. 5's already in the box. So the 2 and the 9 are what we care about. And notice the 2 and the 9 are going to not be available in these red cells, because the 2, 9 look in. And then these green cells are also not 2, 9. And so 2 and 9 end up in here somewhere. That's always going to happen when you have a crossing like this. Now, what we want to do is look at these cells here that I'll mark in blue. In the blue cells, we want to find a duplicate 2 or 9. And I found the 2 here, right? So what we care about is this 2. And so I'm going to get rid of caring about the 9 because we didn't find a buddy for it. But the 2, the blue 2 there, is looking in like this. And so by the nature of how we looked for it, these 2 buddies that we found are going to eliminate 2 from 5 of the cells in the box, and they're going to avoid touching the 6, 8 by the way we found it. We specifically looked at columns and rows that the 6, 8 weren't in, so that they would do that. And that leaves 2 for just these 2 cells here. Now this is really powerful, because whenever you find a crossing, whenever you use the crossing technique and you actually find a result, that's going to give you either a hidden single in the box or pointing. In this case, we got pointing. So in this box, we have found that the 2 is in one of these 2 cells. Now you could have just found that in other ways, right? The crossings is not the result. The crossing is just a way of scanning in order to find pointing here. And what these pointing 2s do is they remove 2 from the rest of the row. We already knew these couldn't be 2 because there's a 2 in the box, but this cell we didn't know couldn't be 2. So we can eliminate 2 from that cell, because if you think about it, another way to think about this is if this was a 2, where would we put 2 in this box? Both of our corner marks turned red. That's no good. So we need a 2 in the box, and it's going to end up here. So it can't put a 2 also over here for the row. So 2 ends up in one of these 2 cells. Now, can we find anything else? I'm not sure if there's more to do with that at the moment. The important thing is this isn't 2. So we want to think about if there's any consequences to that, but I don't see any immediately. Like the column, for example, still has 2 places for 2. It was possible for it to have left only 1 place for 2, but it did not. These pointing 2s don't do anything. Okay, so that was one of the least impactful results from a crossing, but still potentially helpful. Anything else vertically here that I can look for? I'm really not seeing it. So let's look at this vertical. All right, I do have 2 5s looking into here, and this 5 looks in here, but not that that matters. But the 5 ends up in one of these 2 cells. We can mark that. No 7s, 2, 3, 6. Yeah, there's no other duplicates. Are there any crossings that I might have missed? No, I don't think so. Because we have this 1 and 6 looking down here, but there aren't 1s or 6s over here to match up. You know, interestingly, I don't think this is helpful, but because we have both 1 and 6 looking down here, these aren't 1, 6. Whatever this 1, 6 ends up being, it will end up being a crossing here. So whatever this is goes here somewhere, one of these 2 cells, which is interesting. Which means it's going to end up down here somewhere. But there's not really anything we can do with that necessarily. It's just a fun little thing that I've noticed. So, all right, so we gotta look a little bit more closely at individual cells here. I think what we're looking for are restricted cells that might form pairs or triples. Or potentially there's something going on in a row or column that I missed, because my scanning technique often does miss that. So I'm going to take a look. What I'm on the hunt for are, first of all, rows, columns, boxes that are most restricted in the grid, basically that have the most givens in them. So this one, for example, we already looked at. I think I want to look at this row, because it is down to 5, and I think I have to start looking at ones that are down to 5. So we're going to think about it first. We have the 1, 2, 3. So we need 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. So for example, this cell can't be the 5, 7, or 8. And I said 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, right? So the 4 and 9 are all that's left here. So we can center mark this as 4, 9. And I'm always, whenever I'm center marking, I'm always double checking the corner marks in the box to make sure I'm respecting them. Right, not marking a 5 in here, for example. We already knew it wasn't 5, but just always good to pay attention to those corner marks. What did I say? I said 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. This one's not 4 or 9, so this is 5, 7, 8. I'm going to start marking 3 because I think we might have to be trying to find a triple here. That's just my instinct. I don't actually know. These aren't 8. This isn't 8. So 8 ends up over here. We don't have a good way to mark that. So these aren't 5 or 8 actually. Ah, there we go. Okay. I may have been able to spot this earlier, but I missed it. So we have the 5 and the 8 that aren't here. This row needs 5 and 8 still. That's the first thing to note. None of these are 5, 8. This 5, 8 tells us it's not here. And this 5, 8 tells us it's not here. So where are we putting 5 and 8 in the row? The answer is only these 2 cells. And so how could this be a 7? Because we need these 2 cells to be 5 and 8. So if I make this a 7, then suddenly I can't actually fit both 5 and 8 into this row. I could put one of them here, like the 5, but now there's nowhere for the 8. And if I make this an 8, now there's nowhere for the 5. So I've broken the puzzle. I cannot make this 7. So this is actually a 5, 8 pair. And that means the remainder of the row is a triple. It's 4, 7, 9. Now, where does the 7 go in this row now? Because it can't go as part of this 5, 8 pair. Remember, hidden pairs remove the possibility of other digits from being in those individual cells. So these can't be 7 anymore. This isn't a 7, and this 7 says this isn't a 7. So 7 in this row only goes here. And then we're left with a 4, 9 pair here. So yes, this was a very good row to be looking at. And the only reason I looked at it is because it was down to 5 open cells. The fewer cells that are open in the row, the more likely it is you're going to find something interesting about it. Just probabilistically. because of how restricted they're starting out. I'm going to look at this row as well, which is down to 5. We need a 3. Okay, 3 is interesting already because it's down to these two, but we'll keep that in mind. We need 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. I stopped on 8 because we have this 8 here and this 8 here. 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. So this can't be 3 or 8. So this is or 7. So I said 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. This can only be 4 or 9. That's kind of a interesting coincidence. 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. This can't be 3 or 8 either. So this is 4, 7, 9. Oh, 9 is almost interesting, huh? This can't be 8, 9. So this is 3, 4, 7. This can't be 3. So this is 4, 7, 8, 9. I'm not going to mark 4. But yeah, we can see that 8 is limited to these two and 3 is limited to these two. It doesn't do anything, but it's good to note so that if maybe we'll remember that when we start restricting that row more later. Okay, I'm going to look at this row as well. That's down to 5. We know none of these involve the 2 because the 2 is over here. So let's ignore the 2. So we need 1, 4, 5, 7, 9. 1, 4, 5, 7, 9. So this is not 1 or 5. So this is down to 4, 7, 9. Wait, did I list too many digits there? This row has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 digits left. 1, 4, 5, 7, 9 is 5 digits. What did I... Oh, the 7. Okay. Yeah, I listed too many digits there. This is down to 1, 4, 5, 9. That count is correct. Keeping a count in your head is always helpful to find mistakes. You're always going to make some kind... I always make some kind of mistake. And having a check in place lets you catch that before you accidentally use the mistake. So 1, 4, 5, 9. This can't be 1, 5, so this is down to 4, 9. And we have now found a 4, 9 naked pair in this box. I knew to be suspicious of 4 9s. They're all over the place in this puzzle. We even have 4, 7, 9s here. This one. And 4, 7, 9s. 4, 7, 9 in general. Anyway, so let's just double check. This cell can't be 1, 2, 3. 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's only 4, 9. This cell's also only 4, 9. We found that earlier. And so this is a naked 4, 9 pair in the box, meaning the rest of the box cannot be 4 or 9. Now, how does a naked pair work? Well, let's focus on these 2 green cells. This cell here is going to be a 4 or a 9. In the final puzzle, it will be a 4 or a 9. That's what the center mark is telling us. In the final puzzle, this cell will also be a 4 or a 9. Now, the question to ask is, can these both be 4 or can they both be 9? And the answer is no, because the box cannot repeat a digit. So one of them will be 4, one of them will be 9. We don't know which is which, but there's only those 2 possibilities. Either this is 4 with this 9, or this is 9 with this 4. So how are we going to put another 4, 9 in the box? We already know the 4 and 9 end up here. So the rest of the box cannot be 4, 9. That's the logic that's good to use for pairs, because that lets you extend to naked triples, naked quadruples, etc. It's the same logic, just n digits in n cells. So these aren't 4, 9. So the question is, what are they? It's 4 digits left. We need a 1, 5, 7, 8. There's enough looking in here that I'm going to just mark 1, 5, 7, 8. So this can't be the 1, 5, right? Whoopsie, can't be the 1, 5. The 7 is looking in here. Now notice this cell actually sees the 5, 7, and 8 in the column. So it can actually only be a 1. This is a naked single 1. If we were to write out its candidates, it would have only one option. So it has to be that one option. And then now this cell, because of the 1, if I clean this up, it can't be the 1. And then this 8 looks in, making this a naked single 5. So we get the 5, we get the 8. That gives us the 7 here. This 8 looks left, giving us this 3, 8. These are not 5 anymore. 2, 9 pair makes this a 5, or alternatively, where's the 5 in the box? Only here. And these aren't 7 because we just placed a 7 in the row. We now see a 4-9 pair here, or alternatively, where's the 3 in the row? Either way, we place this 3. This is a 4 or a 9, but it can't be a 9. Oh no, it's not 4 or 9. Actually, this 2-9 pair looks right, making this not a 9, so it has to be 4. That's 4, that's 9, that's 4. That's a 2. And this cell is whatever is the 1 that we didn't place in the row. Here we need a 2, 7, 9. So this cannot be the 2 or the 7. Sorry, the 2 or the 9, so it has to be 7. So these are not 7s. All right, very nice. This 2 that we placed looks up. That removes a 2 corner mark from our box, and that lets us know that this is a hidden single 2 in the box now without having to rescan it. All right, now we have a 2 in one of these 2 cells because this 2 looks in, this 2 looks in, this 2 looks up. Just following up on all the digits we got. I think we're finishing up. This is 1, 4, 6. It can't be the 1. In fact, this whole column is just a 4, 6 pair. So this 4, 6 pair, again, affects the box. This can't be 4 or 6, so it has to be 1. That makes this a 6 and a 4. That makes that a 6. That's a 1. Now remember when I said that this cell would end up here, here, and here? Well, it's a 6 now, so you can see the 6 and the 6 ended up here. And you can also see that we need a 6 down here somewhere, which is going to end up in one of these two. So thought I'd point that out. This is a triple here. We need the 3, 8, 9. I'm just going to mark that out. This can't be the 8. So the 8's in one of these two. This is because of the column, right? We know the column needs 3, 8, 9. This can't be 8 or 9. So this is a naked 3. That looks down. That places this 3. All right, nice. We're finishing up. This 3 looks left, removing that quarter mark, placing this 3. We get a deet deet doot in the corner, because 3 in the corner sounds like the REM song, Me in the Corner. That's me in the corner, that's me in the spotlight. Anyway, thought I'd explain that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9. The top one can't be 4, but otherwise it's, yeah, and this middle one can't be 9. Otherwise it's not resolved. This can't be 4. So this is, and it can't be 2 or 2 either. It's not 2 or 4. So this is only set, well, it can't be 2, 4, or 9. This column needs, let's just write it out. This column needs 2, 4, 7, 9. And this isn't 2, 4, or 9. So this has to be 7. And that places the 7 in this box. This is a 1, 5, 8 triple. We have this 2, 9 pair. Okay. What's a good place to look? Maybe this row. We need a 1, 4, 8, 9. At this point, I'm just going to mark it out. 1, 4, 8, 9. Yeah, neither of these are 9 because of that 9 there. And then this sees the 4, this sees the 8. Unfortunately, it's not resolved. Is there anything vertically we can do? Not yet. We know one of these is a 1. All right, where else are we looking? Did I miss something? I got a lot of digits recently. Yeah, okay, so let's just scan some of these digits. I'm noticing these 2 7s look up. The 7 looks in, so 7 in this box can only be there. 7s are done. I'm looking at the blue digits, and I'm just rescanning them in, like, probably this stack is a good one to rescan. So we got the 7. We got the 1 here. Not super helpful. We got the 3 and the 4. Surprisingly unhelpful, but maybe this column will be because it's down to 4 digits. So we need 4, 5, 6, and 8. This one's not 4 or 5, so it's down to 6, 8. This one's not 8, so it's 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6, 8. So this can't be 5, so this is 4, 6, 8 also. That's surprisingly unhelpful. How about this column? We need 1, 2, 8, 9. This can't be 8 or 9, so this is down to 1, 2. This can't be 1, so this is 2. Oh, it's not 2 either. It's not 1 or 2, so this is down to 8, 9. Oh, and it's not 9. Okay, it's not 1, 2, or 9. So we found a naked 8 right there. That's an 8. That's 9 and 8. That's 1 and 4. And I think the rest of the puzzle just kind of plonks the rest of the digits in. This is a 3. That's a 9. We get the 8 and the 1, 5 and 8. That's 5 and 4, 2, 9, 2, 4, 6, 9. And then we have 1 and 6 left, and we finished. I took my time on this one. Hopefully that was instructive for you. Decided to take my time again today. So obviously I could have done this faster than 29 minutes if I had not been taking my time explaining things, going over all the logic. But I hope this was instructive. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, then why not leave a like, subscribe, and a kind comment below.